Welcome to your Tech News Today, where we keep you informed and empowered by giving you the latest tech stories that impact your daily life. It's Friday, February 15th. I'm Mike James. Coming up in just a bit, we'll tell you what the upcoming 5G network means for your health, and then those new smart shoes that are starting to come out could be a risk to your data. Plus, there's a new version of the shower of the future, and there's a new matchmaking app for cows. We'll get started in just a moment, but first we'd like to recognize our partners at Indeed that help make these Komando podcasts possible. All right, we start with the 5G mobile network. You know it's coming. It's set to roll out later this year. And with every upgrade comes the same questions like, will my cell phone give me cancer or generally mess with my health? At least those were the questions back when 3G and 4G rolled out. Well, now it's the same questions, different network though. Will 5G be harmful to your health? It's promising to be really fast because it's on the millimeter wave spectrum. But like everything else, it still puts off the radio frequency radiation, but radiation from the cell phones are low energy and believed to be safe by most. So Digital Trends went to see what the experts had to say and went to several different organizations. And the first one was the FDA. And that's, of course, the Food and Drug Administration. So they're not just responsible for food and drug, but they're responsible for also radiation-emitting devices like smartphones. They said that they still believe that the current safety limits for cell phone RF energy exposure remain acceptable. But of course, they're going to continue reviewing the possibility of adverse health effects. Over to the EPA and the U.S. National Toxicology Program. They haven't really classified RF radiation as cancer-causing, although the NTP said that high exposure to 2G and 3G radiation can lead to cancerous heart tumors in rats. Keep in mind, that's ultra-high exposure radiation, and that's much greater than what people are exposed to with their cell phones. But then there's the World Health Organization. They have a division known as the International Agency for Research on Cancer, or the IARC. They've classified RF radiation as possibly carcinogenic to humans because of one study that showed a possible link between cell phone use and a specific type of brain tumor. But the IARC also says that coffee and talc-based body powder are in that same category. So, bottom line, there's still a lot more research to be done, but so far it doesn't really look like there's much to worry about. At least no more than you should worry about in your daily cups of coffee. Kim has put it several times, talked about this. And, she always says it's better to be safe than sorry. She tells her family to keep the cell phones out of the bras or even strapped to the arm. Guys, do not put your cell phone in your front or back pocket for that matter. Just kind of keep it away. If you do spend a lot of time on a phone, it's best to probably either have a Bluetooth or some kind of a wired headset so your phone isn't up to your ears. She's talked about that before with her friend, the brain cancer specialist, which he says you should not be holding your phone up to your ear when you talk a lot on your phone. All right, we've said it many times before. If the tech is connected, it's potentially hackable, which includes, of course, smart gadgets in your home, the cars you drive, and now what you wear on your feet. Nike's new Adapt BBs are released on Sunday. They're a self-lacing shoe made for basketball players that connect to your smartphone via Bluetooth so you can adjust the fit through the app. They're not the only ones, of course, that have come out with these kinds of shoes. Under Armour has a smart shoe. Puma does as well. And CNET looked into what these shoemakers are doing to make sure your data is protected. Well, think about it. Shoes are for fitness, just like the trackers you wear on your wrist. And to get the most out of them, the apps want data. Things like your weight, height, other health information. Also sensitive details like your location, the routes you run, or your workout routines. So now, Nike and Under Armour say that they're taking your privacy seriously. Nike says there's a two-way authentication protocol that guarantees only the user's device can control the shoes. We've heard that before. CNET says the shoes will be locked to the first device that they're paired with, so even if someone did get a hold of your account information, they can't connect their smartphone to your shoes. But as more companies start making more connected shoes, the risk of a potential breach goes up, and it all comes down to your data. You'll be providing Nike, Under Armour, and whoever else with workout details that could be sensitive. You're trusting them to keep your information safe and to keep from sharing it with third parties. We've seen all of the breaches. We talk about breaches every week. Handle with care. Just ahead, Gmail is finally adding a feature, and you'll wonder why it hasn't been there all along. And get ready for a new way to take a shower while conserving water. Right now, let me tell you about our partners at Capterra. It's been 30 years since the World Wide Web was invented, and I bet some of you are still using old, outdated software. Set yourself up for success with the new software for your business at Capterra.com. As America's digital pro, Kim gets asked about this all the time. What is the best software for someone's business? And she refers people to Capterra.com. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best software solution possible for your business and discover everything you need to know to make an informed decision. Search more than 700 specific categories of software. Everything from project management to email marketing to yoga studio management software. Join the millions of people who use Capterra each month and find the right tools for their business. Visit Capterra.com/Kim today to find the right tools to make 2019 the year for your business. Capterra.com/Kim. That's CAPTERRA.com/Kim. Well, new features come out all the time for long existing services, and sometimes they're a major upgrade, and occasionally they're a much smaller scale upgrade, and then you wonder why they haven't come out with this sooner. I'm not sure why it took so long, but Google is finally adding a right-click menu to Gmail. So as of now, if you right-click on an email in your inbox, you'll get three options. You can archive it, mark it as read, or delete it, which is, of course, limited. But not for much longer. When this change goes into effect, you'll have a lot more options, like the ability to reply, forward, or snooze an email. You'll also be able to add a label or move it to another folder, and you'll even be able to search for emails from the same sender. The new right-click menu feature is already rolling out to G Suite users and should start coming out to more accounts beginning on February 22nd, so just a week away. All right, you might remember about hearing about the so-called shower of the future a couple of years ago. It's a startup company called Nebbia, and they released their spa shower, which instead of just spraying you with water the old-fashioned way, this luxurious shower head autonomizes the water, basically turning it into tiny droplets as a way to conserve it. Now, the company says that using millions of tiny droplets that cover more surface area saves 65% more water than the average shower, and it's been popular among tech's elite like Apple CEO Tim Cook and former Google executive Eric Schmidt. Well, now it's coming back to Kickstarter for a second-generation model. The Nebbia is partnering with Moen this time. So the first one had mixed reviews, and some people didn't feel clean after standing in the midst of a shower for 10 minutes. Some said the water was cold by the time it got to them, and the new version is supposed to address those issues with the feeling of more pressure, and the water should be about 30% warmer. But showering in mist doesn't come cheap. Once it's released, it'll cost about $500. Wow. And if you try to get on the early bird action, if there's still slots available, you can buy one there for $350. That is an expensive shower head. I'll wait for the Chinese version for $38.50. Thank you very much. All right, being a parent isn't easy. It comes with trying to balance everything in your child's life, making tough decisions. The kids don't always get that, but there's a new video game in China that lets kids raise kids, and it's a hit. So once you start playing this game called Chinese Parents, you get to be mom and dad, and the goal is to raise a child from baby until they're old enough for college at a much faster rate, of course. They want to speed them up, so those kids are going to college like 13, 14, whatever. This is about experiencing childhood from your parents' perspective, and not in a very basic way. You have to make choices about activities in school and things like piano lessons or creative writing. and then figuring out the balance between them all. And it focuses on just about every aspect of life growing up, like intelligence, emotional state, imagination, fitness level, and even charm. But some things are very different in Chinese culture. A lot of the game is about making sure that you save face and that your son does well so he can date the prettiest girl. And if you wind up raising a virtual daughter, they're not expected to do as well in school just to make sure that they find a good man to marry. Very different culture. And this goes on as your virtual child unlocks achievements and then ranks up over the game's 48 rounds until it's time for their college entrance exam. New York Times says that some young people who've played the game have been moved to tears. As a matter of fact, it's available for $10 through the online marketplace Steam, but it's only available in China right now. The makers hope to release an English version of the game at some point later this year, and if it does make it to the U.S., maybe your kids will finally understand the importance of being a parent. Coming up next, you better make sure your GPS is up to date before April, or it could stop working. And there's a new matchmaking app for cows. All right. Right now, a quick thank you to our friends that help make this podcast possible. Coming up in April, you might have a little trouble getting your maps to load because of a GPS Y2K sort of thing. It's not as dramatic as the Y2K disaster that, of course, never happened, but it still could be an annoyance depending on your GPS receiver. As the Register reports, it's all about GPS timestamps, and part of a GPS signal timestamp is a weak number that's stored as 10 binary codes. Once it runs out of space, about every 20 years or so, it has to reset to 0, and then the next reset happens on April 6th. Now, worst case scenario, your GPS just stops working, but those chances are pretty slim. Most newer GPS devices can be patched with a simple firmware update. But if it was made before 2010, the chances are not so good. But if you know of a business that uses GPS for a lot of work, it could be best to go ahead and check with the manufacturer of the equipment to make sure that you've got an update ready to go. What do you get when you cross dating app Tinder with livestock? Well, you get an app called Tutter, and it's very real. It is not affiliated with Tinder, but the name is a play off the name of that dating app, and Udder, because it's meant to help farmers find just the right partners for their cattle. Geez, maybe this is a day late. We should have done this on Valentine's Day. It works in a very similar way as Tinder as well. Just swipe through the photos and pick the ones you like. It connects to the Sell My Livestock website, which has seen millions of dollars in livestock that's been listed on the site because it's serious business. And the app isn't really about the looks of the other cattle based on certain health factors. Farmers can predict things like their calving potential, for instance, and it's connecting farmers around the country to grow their trading network. So in a world of new breakthroughs in artificial intelligence and autonomous cars and robots, we can also add a matchmaking app for livestock. What a time we live in. That is so true. Do us a favor and let other people know about us. We thank you for that. Well, finally, for today's Commando Kicker, have you ever wanted to see what a real-life war scenario would be in the water? Well, now you can. The U.S. Navy is planning to launch a swarm of interconnected small attack drone boats on mock combat missions in order to test and continue to develop their technology. These small boats are called unmanned surface vessels and are designed to conduct missions which include finding and destroying mines and also launching a range of different kinds of attacks. This Ghost Fleet is helping the Navy develop in the command and control comms arena as communications and networking technologies, of course, continue to evolve. And it's important to stay on the cutting edge of it. For more interesting facts like that, just go to Komando.com and look for the Commando Kicker. And that's your tech news for today. If you want to win great prizes like the Komando 2-in-1 tablet and laptop, or even a Komando Bluetooth speaker, simply become a Komando ambassador. If you love getting the Komando free email newsletters, you can share it with your friends and family who will benefit from valuable tech and the digital life hacks. Invite them to get the free email alerts. And more people you invite, the more they sign up and the more prizes you win. Just go to Komando.com/ambassador to learn more.